Hello everyone and welcome to the stream. This is Otaku Showboat and today is Monday, July 15th, 2019. We are halfway, thereabouts, through July. Today is the first day of Prime Day for this year. I've had a look through some of the stuff that's on sale. I saw Kingdom Hearts 3 for PS4 is $20, as is Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man game that's been out for a few months. That is also 20. A little bit tempting, but I am passing on both of those. Unfortunately, everything that has to do with Nintendo, while on sale, is not particularly good sales. Diablo 3 is, I think, $40 on sale right now. It's like, how old is that game again? Like, how old is that game again? I mean, not as old if you think about the age of the release on the Switch, but I mean, come on, how long has that game been out on PC? So, anyway, and I'm not interested in the current sales on the games that are normally full price that are like 15-17%, something like that, that are like still $45. That's no, no, that's not a sale. But Nintendo is Nintendo, and Nintendo hates putting things at too deep of a discount, which is a shame because, you know, I would like to eventually get the Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening that they are remaking, but they happen to have chosen to sell it at a full $60 price, and I am not about to pay a full $60 price for Link's Awakening when I own the Virtual Console version on my 3DS right next to me. It cost like $10 or less for that, along with Oracle of Ages and Seasons. So yeah, not interested in paying $60 for a remake of a game that already exists, that I happen to know is a very short game to begin with, so no. 40 at most is what I would pay for that if they ever release, if they ever have a sale which brings it down to $39.99, then I would probably buy it, but not at $59.99. That would be a hell no hard pass for that particular game. Harvest Moon, though, or shall we say, the upcoming remake of Friends of Mineral Town, that will be classed as Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town, that I will gladly pay $60 for, because hell yeah, I want that game on Switch remade. That one I know the content is at least worth the full admission, the full price of admission. So we have Rayon. Ooh, some of that coffee went down the wrong pipe and I had a bit of a coughing fit just then. Okay. Oh, am I, like, using all of my sulfuric acid? Ha! Hi, Pyanodon. Yes, about time. About time. So I have Rayon, which means I have batteries. I just need to attach everything to my batteries, which I have a setup somewhere. Yes, right here for batteries. So, speaking of things, Pyanodon, did you know that this particular recipe is the best recipe for batteries in terms of the rayon to battery ratio? This one gives you 3 batteries. Nice aluminium. Yeah, the processing of that right here to the initial pulp. So, yeah, there's lots of options but for batteries, but this is just objectively the best one because it's 3 batteries per unit of rayon. And of all the things that are required in this particular recipe, rayon is the hardest. Slash the most difficult. Now, it is a bit heavy on the sodium hydroxide. I will point that out. It is a bit heavy on the sodium hydroxide. Yeah, but... Yeah, it is a little heavy on the sulfur too, but... Yes, I have... Well, I'm currently mining sulfur here. I've got all of this coming out currently on that sulfur line. Where else? I've got sulfur here. I've got sulfur, I know, here a little bit. That's not particularly dense. I've got sulfur. I don't think I need to worry so much about sulfur. There was another one that was somewhere. Maybe I saw it hidden behind the clouds at one point, but yeah, let's just say I've got the sulfur. Sulfur, not worried about in the slightest. Definitely not worried about the kimberlite on this map, or the regolites on this map, or the oil, or the anything really. I've got the stuff. So I need to actually bring in the steel plates. Yes, everything, because point 17 and RSO exist. Oddly enough, my main complaint about point 17's map generation is default water, actually. Because if you leave the settings on default on water, you end up with a Swiss cheese map. Every time. Every single time. Default water settings ends up as Swiss cheese with just huge lakes everywhere. It's like you're on a marsh. So every single time that's the one thing that I change. Every single map I make in point 17 is the water generation. Just because it's terrible. It is awful, and I hate it. Now, which lane am I gonna stick stuff on? That is a good question. That being said, I've only actually played point 16 on the start of one map on vanilla. Afterwards, I switched over to 17 and haven't gone back since. But that was the primary thing that I had noticed, was in terms of the map generation between the stable point 16 and point 17 experimental, is there's just so much more water in point 17. It's a little nuts how much more water there is. This is actually handy information. I should use that more often, but I don't. Anyway, let me think. I have to think about how I'm going to belt 6 items in when there's requirements for 6 per second and 2 per second here. I would like to have their own belts in on the hydroxide in particular, and the sulfur, and then share belts on the plates and chromium and the rayon and lead. What's worth more, bringing the electric posts far away, or generating energy locally by oil using the oil burner? I have no idea. Honestly, I haven't really done any math on what you're referring to. This oil burner? I I haven't done the math to know how much energy I'm even getting out of this thing. But I know that in terms of resource density, crude oil is less dense than fuel oil. So if you have a lot of crude oil that you intend on turning into fuel oil anyway, if you're using more than 1200 per second of crude oil, it's better to convert to fuel oil first and then pipe it to wherever you're going to burn it. I just don't know. I haven't done the math in comparison of this thing burning any type of oil. It would depend on the inherent fuel value of the fluid that you're using. Which the only thing that this burner tells me is crude oil has 1 megajoule of fuel value. Well, I don't know how much steam it's converting out of that 1 megajoule of fuel value. That's one thing I don't know. It says energy consumption 3.6 megawatts, which is joules per second, megajoules per second, so that's 3.6 fuel per second, but efficiency 50%, so double that. Equivalent of 2 boilers in terms of steam generation. That means I could have 4 engines on the end of it, even though I have 3 right now. So if you can put 4 engines, that would be 4 by 900 kilowatts for each of these. And then I would need to know what is the fuel value of something like the fuel oil. All this says is 1 megajoule on it, so if that's the case, and crude oil is the same fuel value as the fuel oil, it would be better to use the crude oil because it's twice as much per unit than the fuel oil. And at least I'm assuming, because this says energy consumption of 3.6 megawatts and efficiency of 50%, that the fuel value of 1 megajoule would mean that it's 2 times 3.6 per second that this burner is consuming to give you 4 engines worth of steam, which is 900 by 4, or 3.6 megawatts potentially, out of to like power outposts, you mean? I still think I'd rather run the poles out to the outposts. Just just because this is just so efficient doing that fuel oil burning. I would much rather run power out. That's not even a question for me. It's like I would, yeah, that's not even a question. I would not separate my grid into the different outposts. Now, if I was going like, oh, I don't know, 8,000 chunks away to set up a outpost out in the middle of nowhere, A, I'd look for a source of oil nearby. B, I'd still convert it into fuel oil. I would probably make the burner just to kickstart making fuel oil. Like, I would find a source of coal and a source of oil nearby and set that up if I really didn't feel like running big electric poles 7,000 chunks away from my main base. Anyway, I need... So I've set up 3 lines in. If I set up... Oh, I did not plan for this very well. Everything 1 tile up. How many hours have I put into this map? 77.5. Ish. And still no C2. What is C2? Circuit 2s, right, yes. I still don't have circuit 2s, because I need the, stainless steel first. Okay, pretty much no chance I'd be able to bring in enough sodium hydroxide. 6 per second, that's going to need 2 of those. 2 per second is fine. I can make this the sulfur, I can make this the sodium hydroxide, and I can do shared lanes here and here on the other stuff. I just need to make sure that lead and rayon share a line, and chromium and steel share a line. Speaking of chromium, how far away? Where's my chromium again? Here. Oh right, I'm totally converting chromium into chromium tin, or tin chromium alloy right there. This is a very efficient machine, by the way. Like, fast, very fast conversion of plates into this tin chromium alloy. It's incredibly fast for what you get. Okay. Let's get... honestly, this machine, yes, perhaps nerf it. This one is over, like, it's over 2.5 per second for one machine. Compared to the other machines that do alloys, I think it is a little fast, just in comparison to the other stuff that is out there. This particular one, 2 2/3 per second output. Yeah, that's a little much. And I'm not even sure this is particularly in demand for too much. The tin chromium alloy. Is it even gonna be listed here? Tin chromium. It's used as a catalyst for a lot of stuff. But for any individual thing, I don't know. I mean, it's not actually used as anything but a catalyst. Which is exactly what I'm going to use it for eventually. I was going to set it up to get coal gas out of low distillates, primarily, and then probably refined syngas out of condensed, or even syngas directly. I mean, right now I have some coal gas being made in this recipe, although it's a bit much on zinc chloride. What I want to do is have something that's not as big of a draw on the zinc chloride, and going through the options, you either have tar or you have the low distillates outside of this. Otherwise, you're doing the inefficient DDC processing. And those are the only ways that coal gas exists right now. At this point in time. Now, and I've already done a tech reset, and recipe reset, so all of the options to get coal gas should be listed here. Technically speaking, what I really should do is change over my recipe for syngas to do this one, using oxygen, to use a bit less, refined, the refined syngas. Let's see, there's this one that I'm doing now. There's this one with methanol, giving refined water, CO2, and acid gas. There's methanol canister plus syngas. One with petroleum and chromium that I don't have yet. One with coal slime overflow and industrial solvent. Coal bed gas. Condensed distillates. Refined natural gas. Outlet gas 2, and tholins. So the one with the coal bed gas. Yeah, this is... A requires filtration media, so either way you're using your activated carbon doing this. Where did it go? Here. And then the coal bed gas, right now, it's out of pressured water and oxygen in a coal bed extractor. Otherwise, it's even more activated carbon through filtration media. Yeah, almost free. Almost free. At least on the coal bed gas front, you have to pay the oxygen, ultimately, because water is free. Pressured, little bit of energy to throw it through a pump to get pressured. That gives you some coal, but that's 150 units on a 15-second craft time. Oh, boys. So, 10 whole units per second to make refined syngas at needing 200 every 4, so 100 per second. So you would need 10 of those refineries to... You would need 10 extractors to feed a single gas refinery of coal bed gas. To make 300 refined every 4 seconds. Is this a better mod than FNEI? I think so. This is the mod. What is it really used for? I think it has a much better UI experience over FNEI overall. Although the search thing up here can be a little bit finicky on closing it, and it gives you a full thing of fluids. Anyway, I need to actually hook this up. This lane... Oh, I need, get more of these. This is sodium hydroxide. Let's see, where is that again? Here. There we go. There's that one in... I don't know, I don't even know if I'm making 6 per second in total on the sodium hydroxide, so this is going to be a bit limited by my sodium hydroxide production. In particular because I'm using the sodium hydroxide in the rayon chain, which is also needed for the batteries. It is needed up here. Now, I'm making this stuff in 2 different ways. This is one way to consume some sodium hydroxide, but I have it being made in the other way as well. Part of me just is wanting to make sure that I am always at least using all of the sodium hydroxide. Also... yeah, this needs to be a thing. This is going to be steel and chromium. Now, I do have chromium up there, but... Alright, what lane are you in? Oh, that's not gonna work very well. I'll need to bring it in up here. Is that a lane of small parts? Yes, it is. My small parts, I made a setup that looks a little bit like this. This is one thing that I had designed in order to automate my small parts really, really early, and I have them being buffered. Oh, small parts are absolutely worth busing. Absolutely. It's not even a question, really. Absolutely bust the small parts. This is a unit that I can easily double and extend and all that. At least until I use up the lane of iron, but anyway. It's just because the small parts are more resource dense than the individual iron and copper. That would be the reason to do it, but again, the arguments of resource density only really apply if you're actually dedicating lanes to feed into those items that are more resource dense. So ultimately, I just am bussing them out of convenience because I don't want to handcraft them when I can, when I notice, when I'm making buildings. Because think in vanilla too, when you have a situation where you're making green circuits, well, in order to actually justify giving green circuits a certain number of lanes, you sort of have to be feeding in a lot more lanes of iron and copper into it anyway. And it's like, well, what's the point of pulling off those lanes from the main bus if you're ending up using an entire lane anyway? And that gets into the whole argument of should you use a main bus to begin with for items that you know you're going to need a lot of that end up also consuming full lines of other items that you have on your bus. It's like, if you're going to go the route of dedicating lines into those items anyway, do those items need to necessarily be on your main bus, or is that something you can actually make further back somewhere else in some other place and then bring them in separately off of that? Anyways, that's those now. Now I need to bring the sulfur, the rayon, and the lead. Rayon needs to be added to the bus, so up I go. Actually, rayon, that is a good question. Rayon, what are you otherwise used for besides the batteries? Biofilm. Biofilm and fiberglass. A fiberglass recipe that I am uncertain if I'm going... Oh, that I know I'm going to have to do at some point, because that's the only recipe. What about biofilm? There are 2 recipes, one at Nanotech, one that's actually locked behind Nanotech. So this would be the recipe to do the biofilm. Otherwise, organic matter, which... yeah, that's actually relatively easy to do. Although, I just want to say I hate lime. Like, I hate lime just due to how much energy you lose by how much coke is being consumed out of it. And all the coke it even takes just to get to this point. I mean, lime is one thing, calcium carbide is another beast entirely. The stuff that's used in the acetylene, like, that's so much potential energy that you're losing by killing off coke. Anyway, rayon. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay, which lane here? Ah, it is lane 2. Right next to urea. Where's my nearest car? Oh, I need belt, so I may as well go and grab some belt. And undergrounds and splitters. Before I run this down. Could have taken some more of my aluminium tiles and painted more of my bus with them. Considering how much I go up and down this bus, sooner or later the whole thing really needs to be filled with these 200%, 210% movement speed boosting tiles. Honestly, one of the best uses of aluminium is those aluminium tiles. Oops, I killed a thing. How's the kills looking? Again? Let's see, how much have I destroyed with my cars so far? 4 of the Niobium Undergrounds, apparently. Store some of the extra stuff. Probably don't need to hold on to a lot of this. Alright. Back we go. So once I get the batteries set up, then I should, theoretically, I think, be able to do the laser turrets. Just pilfer some of my optical sets for that. Because these are required for molybdenum mines. Why turrets are required for mines is a little beyond me. But anyway. I guess we're mining molybdenum with lasers. So then I have to go also through that whole molybdenum processing chain. It was the optical sets, right? So that's not that one. It's these guys. I guess I should, I should have a thingy, a chest, to keep this moving. Because something tells me I'm going to need a few mines. Here I am leaving my car behind, as per usual. Because I feel so fast on my 200% tiles. 210% tiles. Alright, there's batteries. Now, if I'm not mistaken, unless things have changed, laser turrets are required for science, are they not? They are required for a thing that's required for science later? Yeah, utility science packs. So you need to actually automate the laser turrets because they're needed later for a science pack. Oh joy. I was like, I'm pretty sure I saw that as a requirement in among the various charts. Which are mostly outdated, but still have some relevance. Which reminds me that, yes, some of those charts currently have outdated buildings, I think, for the most part. Some of them make reference to buildings that are that have been changed, I should say. Some buildings have been changed from what they were prior, but they're still easy enough to understand, I think. Alright, getting... This will be the rayon and the lead. Rayon and a lead share a line. And it will share this line. There we go. I was off a little bit there. Alright. Lead. Nah. So there's lead, and then the rayon will come in like so. Oh, right. Now I have to wait. Wait, is this even moving? It is not, because this is not connected to the anything. It is not connected to the anything. Wonderful, wonderful English there. How about bringing up the actual carbon dioxide line and hooking that up and then running an overflow valve into some gas vents? That sounds like a plan. Speaking of carbon dioxide, how far back do I have to go for that? That is the question of the century here. This is CO2. Right next to tailings. Okay, that is a good-ish indicator because the tailings is being run up here. go. Northwards we go. Oop. Question, how far northwards do we go? Not that much further. In fact, I can probably just swing on over now. Alright. Now, theoretically, I am also backed up on my carbon dioxide, so just doing that connection is likely not going to solve a single thing, which is why I said I need to put a overflow valve and run some stuff. Two, or should I add more? Should always add more. I think that's always the answer when it comes to Factorio. More is always an answer. May not always be the correct answer, but it is always an answer. Alright, that should get the actual rayon moving again. Looks like I'm a little bit choked on the sulfuric, probably because I am consuming so much up here to make this stuff between these two processes. Which reminds me, I need a radar up here. Alright. Oh hey, a car. How convenient. Alright, there was a thing, Pyanodon, in titanium processing 3, I think? Here. So, if you're still watching, you put the tin chromium alloy for the molten tin, molten chromium recipe behind titanium processing 3 instead of whatever tin processing 3 that I am sure that you intended. That's one thing I noticed as soon as you added those molten recipes, and I was looking through to see what I needed to update, and I noticed, hey, you put a tin in a titanium. Okay. I was hitting T to escape, and it wasn't letting me escape, even with the thing not being drawn. Uh-oh. Yeah, that was one little thing to make note of. Alright, then I need the sulfur, and that would be it. this will be sulfur. The beautiful sulfur. It was fixed? Well, I've got the most recent update, so if it was fixed, then it probably might not have just been pushed to whatever thingy you're using. GitHub, if you're doing that. Uploading now. Ha! Oh, right. Ooh, this is... Alright. There we go. Snaking. All that will be fixed once I get up to, red belts. Ideally. Okay, this will be the first of the batteries. Now, I'm going to go ahead and... Oh. More iron. Do a little buffer on these batteries. Come on down, my sulfur. My glorious sulfur. .6 per second, not terrible, but still would like it to be higher. The issue being if I add more, well, we start running into the sodium hydroxide as being an issue. Now, sodium hydroxide, which gives me nightmares after playing through that Angel's playthrough with space extension on it. Only really through the saltwater electrolysis and the slacked lime plus salt. And it gives you a little limestone too. Well, regardless. I'm uncertain how much spare saline water I have, though. Cool. Thank you. That is a necessary change. So, we have batteries! Yay! The first batteries. I was not even remotely about to do this recipe for batteries. You know, the vanilla-like recipe. No chances in hell is this a recipe that will ever be worth it. Because holy crap, that is a lot of rayon per battery. That is a lot of rayon per battery. So this is a 2 units of rayon per battery recipe. That's not about to happen, especially compared to the 3 batteries per unit rayon that you get out of this one. Yeah, it's more stuff in, but the rayon is the hardest part. So, about them thar laser turrets. Just have to grab some of my circuit boards, huh? That's the easy part. who don't play with Pi High Tech or petroleum handling. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't know why people would choose to play without the full setup. I mean, that's one thing that doesn't quite make sense to me. It's like, well, if you're installing any Pyanodons, why aren't you installing all of them? That it only makes sense to play with all of the things. Alright, so niobium iron alloy I am making somewhere. Here. A glorious 2-hole molybdenum mines, wonderful. Steel. Give me steel. Steel and circuits. Why would you not use Angel's Petrochem? That sounds like a terrible idea as well. Then again, I've never played base Bobs, so there's that too. I've never played without Angel's Petrochem, so I just inherently can't understand why people would play without Angel's Petrochem, because I don't know what it's like without it. More batteries. Alright. So, how many of these mining drills am I gonna actually need? That's another really important thing that I need to determine. So, that means I have to go actually out to the molybdenum, right? No, I don't. I just have to see... Where am I going to mine molybdenum? Where did I make my marker? I was going out to this one, wasn't I, in the end? I just want to look at the mining time. Mining time, 300%. 300%. Mining speed is 3.5. So, 3.5 over 3. And then... Of course you have to make this difficult to try and hit any particular value for belt. 15 over 3.5 over 3. 13? Alright, I guess I'm making 14 of these drills and it'll be okay. These need what? Do these need, drill heads? Or some other fuel? What do they need? The molybdenum is no gas, so it's probably drill heads. I'm gonna need more chromium. Like, straight up, that's my limitation right now, I think. Also, Hrat, you're watching, I guess. You have, posted a picture of your, current map on PyBlock. I saw that on the forum. Yes, so many hurt pipes. I've got lots of repairing to do. I have sorta been playing around with PyBlock, but as with most things that involves that type of playstyle, it just takes forever I have it sitting on double game speed, as per the usual, I think, when doing any type of C block thing. Just to get through the initial stuff. I am at the point where I think I can straight up automate my red science, but actually setting that up is what's gonna take the most time. Okay, I was in the middle of making these. I just need to go grab more of my batteries. Right up here. More damaged pipes! And more damaged pipes! Alright, batteries, come to me. So I said I wanted 14 molybdenum mines. This will be 5. Alright. Let me go grab my circuits. I am looking forward to the alien life mod once that's ready to go. Myself, looking forward to the updated science processes. Perhaps you can answer the question of why so many mod makers actually are so fascinated with making the game pace so much slower in the early game. Like, why? What's ultimately the point? Because that's one thing that really does bother me, is anytime I'm playing with a mod install and you are forced to sit and wait, and you can't do anything else until something is made, which is pretty much the basis of any type of C block, and even the pi block that exists now. Heck, even Omnimatter's really slow in the start, so that's just one of those things. It's like, huh, why exactly is this like this? Why do people want to sit around and do absolutely nothing while they wait for things to happen? Let's see here, I need the optics. Now, when you consider the early game of something like just Bobs and Angels, you at least have stuff to do. It may be slow, and even here in Pyanodons, it may be slow, but it's not slow for lack of things to do, which that's what my main complaint is with some sets of mods. In particular C block and that style, it's where you really have nothing to do until you've made science or until you've crafted landfill to continue your expansion. That's what turns me off of those types of mods. Primarily. Oh, engine units. Of course it's engine units also required for this. And then specifically for the pie block mod right now, um, my main initial issue there that needs to be worked on is just that initial phase. It's really too easy to soft lock in that early phase if you make the wrong things out of your initial resources. This is why C block gives you specific machines at the start of the game to help avoid putting you in a situation where you end up in a soft lock. It's why it has a certain science progression at the very beginning. It's to teach you what you need to do to actually progress and to not be soft locked. But here, unless you actually look up the exact steps that you need to take in Pi Block, you can very, very easily end up having to restart the map because you've used your resources to make too much of any one thing, and then you don't have a resource that you need to actually make a machine that you need in order to progress, and then you're just done, and you can't do anything about it. Where are my engines? Right there. I am one short. One short. And I need the Duralumin and a few more batteries. Alright, well, Duralumin. I'll just take care of that, and then just a couple more batteries, and then I'll have enough, then I'll have enough beautiful thingies. Wait, this thing just... Question mark? Oh. Oh yeah, you know what just happened is my car got within range of the inserter, and the inserter grabbed the cargo that was inside of this car. I just so happened to have small electric poles in this car. Yeah, it's early, and that's the main point, is it's still really early in the development of Pi Block. So I'm sure that all of that stuff will come with time. It's just, you need to know going into it that there's a certain intended way of progressing, and it's the only thing that you can do in the early game to get to the point where that you can then start doing things how you want to. But if you don't follow this specific procedure at the start of the game, you will lose, basically, through soft lock. And that, I am sure, will change with time. However, I think at the moment, I would much rather King Arthur finish working on and finishing up the Pycole Touch Mine Angel redo. Yeah, that sounds like a much, much, much better idea. I would like to see that redone. And they said that they would do that after doing the 0.17 release of Pi Block, so here's hoping. Oops. Here, have a medium. I need to replace that whole line with the big poles anyway at some point. Whoops. Oh hey, more kimberlite. As if I needed even more. Ugh, so in this volcanic zone. You know, instead of nanobots, I've been tempted to install the aircrafts mod to just be able to fly over all the rocks and not have the slowdown from the terrain in this volcanic area. Don't know if I'd even be able to make one at this point, make an aircraft, but couldn't help to try. Hurt to try, anyway. So I'm pretty sure I had decided that this would be my molybdenum patch. It's actually near... Oh, look, even more kimberlite. Hey, even more kimberlite. Wow. Alright. Well, at least I know I'll have diamonds when the time comes for diamonds. That's one thing I will absolutely have. So, I will need to bring up drill heads. My closest source of drill heads is my niobium patch. Is there a molybdenum of value near that niobium patch? I don't really think so. There is this, but I don't think this is big enough for 14 mines. Plus, it would be a little cramped being next to my tin and quartz. Guess I probably just don't have a choice and we'll have to run the drill heads up anyway. Alright. Oh, I have 13, not 14, because I didn't end up going and grabbing my batteries for the last one. Ah, that's a good question. Will this one even fit 14? Though technically I only need 13, so... Let's just see. Now, that says 3.5 per second, but the mining time is 300% here, so you have to divide by 3, pretty much. 3.5 over 3. Which is a little sad, and it takes drill heads. Always with the drill heads. These things are huge. It's about to be math time. Because then I have to go through the whole molybdenum processing chain. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna fit even 13 on this. Maybe. That's 6 so far. And I need an extra gap of at least 2. Ugh. So... yeah, this is not quite gonna work out very well. Well, I got all 13 there. Now, the reason why I need this big gap here is because these need their drills. Their drill heads. Do I have a bigger molybdenum anywhere else? I have one that's there. How does that compare in size? That's a bit bigger. But this is a heck of a lot denser. I don't know, I think I'll stick with this one due to the resource density. But things may change after going through the math of the buildings required for the molybdenum processing. Now, I do also think that I need straight up molybdenum ore for some things. Like, there are some things, crude cermets. That's it. Needs nickel, molybdenum, and ceramic ores to make crude cermets. And these guys are going to be needed for cermets, which are going to be needed for my diodes, microchips, resistor 2s, so things which are needed for circuit 2s. And a circuit 3. Oh wow, so microchips needed for circuit 3. So it's the... Really? So the, cap 3s don't need cap 2s, and yet... the, cap 2s require cap 1s, and the... not the transistors are new, but the... inductors require inductor 1s. That's interesting. I really feel like they need, 0.4 kitchen sinks per second per circuit. Yeah, pretty much. Just throw everything. But my point here is that things like the resistor 2s require the resistor 1s, but the resistor 3s don't require resistor 2s, which is a slight inconsistency with, when getting into circuit board 3s, because all of a sudden the requirement for the previous tier seems to have disappeared, but 3s do require 2s, so you're sort of getting that anyway. But then again, circuit 2s also require circuit board 1s as well. So either way, there's a little bit of an inconsistency here, because the capacitor, inductor, and resistor 2s require capacitor, inductor, and resistor 1s, as well as the circuit board 1s, which are also using those items. So, I don't know what to think. It makes circuit board 3s slightly simpler in the end, which, I mean, when you get to circuit 3s, okay, so you've got the microchips and the optical fibers from the circuit 2s, that's shared. And then you've got these resistors, capacitors, and inductor 3s, which are new. You've got solder, which is required for the circuit 2. Gold plates are new. Mounted circuit substrate is brand new. These paths to get to these level 3s are pretty new. And then processors are brand new. It's the first time you've seen that. So, yeah, that's going to be yet another mission, but we still need to get to Circuit 2s, which, currently I am making solder and circuit board 1s. That's how close we are on circuit board 2s. But when you actually get into looking at some of these things, some of the, in particular the printed circuit substrate 2, it's like, well, I've got the nylon parts now. I have phenol, and zinc chloride, and organic matter, and formaldehyde. I could make bakelite, which means I could do phenolic boards. So I can do the phenolic boards. I've got tin, I've got copper, and I've got what I need to make lard, and I've got these acids. Only the hydrogen peroxide would be the other thing, and that needs nickel. And this stuff, which is... Oh, look, liquid nitrogen. Hello, I need you for aramid. Well, I need you for, I think it's TPA. Yes, TPA. That's like the same recipe. That is the same ingredients for TPA that is used in aramid that is used to make stainless steel. So, still got lots of things. That's the output. This is the output. That's an input. I'll need power brought out here. You need a lane balancer. Then I need to do the molybdenum processing chain. So plates are made in electrolyzers. That's gonna need some energy, and I'm just going to bring up my notes so that I can put down the moly chain stuff. This is plates in electrolyzer. Interesting how the plates do not ever come from directly a molten molybdenum. They come from Mu 3. From Mu 3. And then Mu 3. Mu 3 from Moss 2 plus O2 in HPF. Oh, hey, a source of sulfur. But something tells me Moss 2 is going to need some, sort of sulfur. Oh, it's getting filtration media. Hello, filtration media. So, Moss 2 from... There's the molten from pulp plus filtration media in a filter. The pulp is made pulp from concentrate in a thickener. I wonder if any of these are going to need a nickel alloy to make. That would be like something I should expect at this point, right? So the concentrate is from a molybdenite pulp. In a hydrocyclone. This will be the second time I'm using one of those. Oh, and it takes nitrogen in. Ooh. Ooh, plus N2. Looks like I'm gonna need more nitrogen. Starting your pie world all over again. Why would you want to start your thing all over again, considering how much time is needed for it? Do you just not like the map that you got? That would be a very good reason, actually, if the map's not that great. Alright, molybdenite pulp. From dust. Yeah, the ores being too far away would definitely be good reason. Although, on my map, you'll note some of this stuff that I am mining is a fair number of chunks away. Like, this is at least 200 chunks away from my starting location, just to get into this lead down here. And this is at least a couple hundred chunks away for all these places that I'm mining. Ah, you took out the Omnite ore, yeah. I hadn't thought to use Omnimatter for a Pyanodon setup. So let's see, from dust in an agitator. Not pie ores in it, okay. Either way, it seems like an intriguing setup. Let's see, dust from powder in a ball mill. This is getting a little bit more familiar. Powder from ore in a jaw crusher, of course. So, powder from ore in jaw crusher. So, how many steps is this? At least there's no... There's no, like, backfilling of stuff. Like, no rejects to deal with in this process. But it is going to need this filtration media. Oh boy, that's going to be the problem here. So I'm going to have to set up filtration media. Pure sand, gravel, glass, and activated carbon. This is why I'm not too miffed about not having 14 mines. I'm not even going to be staying out in this location for very long. Chances are we're not even going to start mining this ore today. I've also got this nickel line down here. What was the nickel needing again? Syngas, I think, to mine that. Because I do have to do mining at some point. So, thickener. Looks like I can make those at the moment. Thickeners. That was the only thing new, so... Looks like I can actually make all of these buildings. Hydrocyclone. Agitator. Melamine. I have to go grab some melamine to make that. So right now, I was looking up the buildings that I need for the process of processing the molybdenum ore into plates. Because you need the molybdenum plates to get into stainless steel ultimately. You need it for the stainless steel, and you need it for the aramid in particular. So, regardless, you need that, and you need the stainless steel to even get into the circuit 2s. So all of this is on the way towards Circuit 2's. My goal for this week has been getting the stainless steel setup moving. Having non-zero stainless steel by end of stream Friday is the goal. We shall see if that happens. I would like for that to happen, but let's see. How much more do I have on stainless? So stainless steel needs the aramid. The aramid, I am working on this molybdenum now, and then I will need TPA after that. So the TPA is going to need nichrome, so I'm going to need to do the nickel, and I'm going to need to do the gasoline, which I'm planning on doing through the distillates here, stripped distillates, but for that I'm going to also need titanium tetrachloride, which I'm going to need some coal dust and chlorine for. I'm currently making some coal dust. I currently have some chlorine. I need a lot more chlorine, though. Alternatively, I could use some of my heavy oil and hot air plus titanium tetrachloride to make gasoline. Or I could just use some of my distillate and make some olefins off of something or other lubricant, I guess, to give some soot, to give some more extra silver, I guess. Slightly extra silver for now. So, yeah, that's how that's looking. And then outside of the actual stainless steel, the molten stainless steel is going to need ferrochromium alloy that I don't think I'm currently making. I don't think I'm currently making this. This will also be, because I'm using chromium in so much right now, it would mean that I need to scale up my chromium production. So, lots of things. Lots and lots of things. Now, I was here because I needed something for the agitator. I needed melamine. Melamine is a product that's being used in the production of circuit board 1s. So I will head down to where I am making my melamine. Yeah, it's used for melamine resin. Which is then used out here for formica, which is used in the printed circuit substrate 1, which is used for the circuit 1s. Alright, then I need a filter. I need an electrolyzer, which those are here. Electrolyzer. I've got high pressure furnaces, filter, thickener, hydrocyclone, agitator, ball mill, and jaw crusher. Right there. Okay, I tend to do my math on this. Well, I can start by going from the beginning or going from the end. So I will start this time around by going from the beginning. So this all starts with jaw crushers. Wow, that's nice. That is handy. So 3 jaw crushers. So X3 on that one. Jaw crushers crushing molybdenite powder. These go into a ball mill. This makes half into molybdenite powder. Then it's molybdenite dust. Back to a full 15. Okay. So 4 ball mills. Then it's the agitator. So the agitator will then take the dust into pulp, the molybdenite dust into molybdenite pulp. And this is going to take 15 per second, although it looks like the ratios will mean I need 4 of these. Although if I did go up to... no, I would have to go really high numbers to get something even. Divisible by 15 anyway. So that is not going to be 80 per second. It'll be 75 per second on the molybdenite pulp. The pulp gets processed in the hydrocyclone. Molybdenite pulp into molybdenum concentrate, which is an item. And I will be processing 75 per second, so that means I'm going to need 3 hydrocyclones for that. This will then get processed in thickeners from concentrate into pulp. And this will produce not 6 per second. Not 6 per second. 90 over 6 by 70. So that's 15 units. So 75 over 15. That's 5. 5 per second is what we'll end up with in concentrate. So to do 5 per second, that's 2 thickeners. Processing 5 per second into... oh boy, more math, more math. So 20 over 6... times 5. 16 and 2/3 per second. 16 and 2/3 per second of the pulp. This then goes through filters. Where's my filter? There we go. Filter into MOS 2. Pulp plus filtration media. We need to process 16. So 1 filter is just fine there. That is way more than enough. In fact, that's enough to process close to 4 thickeners worth. Double. Double! And that's barely any pull on a filtration media, so hardest part is just getting it there. So that is a 10 to 1, which means I would go from 16 and 2/3 to 1.6. Repeating, 1 and 2/3. So 1.667 per second on the MOS 2. And then the Mu 3 is made in a high pressure furnace. So we're going to Mu 3. And we need to process exactly that much. Exactly that much. That is exact. Okay. It's as if that was planned. So x1 on that into 0.883 per second. And a little bit of sulfur to have to deal with. And then the electrolyzer makes molybdenum plates from Mu 3 at half of a plate per second. So, what you're telling me is that this entire process, this whole chain, converts 15 molybdenum ore per second into half a plate per second. So that's what you're telling me? That 15 ore in per second is equal to half of a plate per second. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Aramid is made in what now? A nanomaterial factory. Can I make one of these real quick? It's right there. What do I need to grab? Some steel? Well, I just need to see what the demand looks like of it, because 0.5, that's ultimately meaningless if the demand I need on it is like 0.02 per second for each of these processes, so I need to grab steel and wood, apparently. How far back's my wood? Out here. Yes, use it wisely. Autosave. And considering the default size of those molybdenum patches makes it even difficult to get a yellow belt out anyway, considering the size of the machines. It's like I just barely got enough mining drills on this 6.4M patch to give me a yellow belt out in the first place, so it's like, okay, well, as long as I can fit enough for a yellow belt, that means I've got 0.5 per patch. But if I look at this, making this, it needs... Yeah, that's a bit more than half per second, if I want 2 per second. But again, same argument applies. Do I need 2 per second on aramid? Likely not, so the stainless steel Now, molybdenum is needed for just the processing into the plates on this. That is in a casting unit. Which is... No, that's not a casting unit. That is not a casting unit. This is a casting unit. So I will have to be a little bit careful on that aramid, so that we're not yanking everything off the line. Casting unit into stainless steel uses how much aramid for a single casting unit? 0.13 per second. So you're telling me that if I have 2 of these, that's 0.25, which is an eighth of the amount of the production of a single nanomaterial factory, which means I would need an eighth of 1.25, or 0.15, or no, 0.16 rounded, so 0.15625, which is significantly less than 0.5. So I think I would have enough of the molybdenum to back myself up on aramid and have enough of the aramid to produce my stainless. I don't know if I'll even be making 25 per second on the molten stainless at this point in time. The molten stainless, I think that's in a basic oxygen. Converting steel into stainless. I guess it's not in a basic oxygen. Oh well. You are in a what now? Advanced foundry. Okay. One of these actually does, when fully fed, give you 25, so that does make sense to do that math with 2 casting units to give 2.5 per second on the stainless. So that does make a little bit of sense. Now, what was I was actually doing double this based off of my current molten iron production. I was assuming that I would be doing 50 per second on the molten stainless. So that would be 2 of these. I'll need to see what the output's like on nickel plates when doing nickel. And I would definitely need more chromium to feed a 5 per second on ferrochromium alloy. I should have the niobium for this. And I should definitely have the phosphate rocks and everything else, but I do have that 100. I do have this available. So doing 4 would need a half, would need twice as much, so 1.25 over 4 at this point, which would be 0.3125, which is less than 0.5, so that should be okay for my planned stainless steel production, assuming I actually use a full, whatever it is, 5 per second on stainless steel. So that should be fine. Everything will be okay. It's all gonna be alright. So, the process of going forward, I need to grab... So, no matter what, even once I make the sufficient number of machines that I'm going to need, this actually makes a decent screenshot. if it were daytime, but I'm gonna screenshot it anyway. It's like, have a look at the molybdenum chain. This is the molybdenum chain. This is gonna need hydrogen in, and oxygen in, and filtration media in, and water in, and nitrogen in, and a means of dealing with stone and gravel, and tailings, and sulfur, and water. Perhaps the most logistically complex of the chains that I have been doing thus far, I think. I think this one officially wins for the most logistically complex. Especially when you consider what you need to do to even get the mining drills in the first place for this thing. Alright. Well, I have my numbers of things that I need. So now it's a matter of making what's missing. Oh, apparently my inventory is full. I keep looking at the cat next to me. He's being cute right now. Yeah. Anyway. So I need 3 jaw crushers. There's 3. I need 4 ball mills. Needs more copper. 4 agitators. That's 2. Needs more melamine. Three and 4. Alright, that's the agitators. I need 3 total hydrocyclones. Ooh, niobium. I also need these. I have the pipes already made, technically, but I am also busing niobium somewhere. Somewhere or other. Right here. This is beautiful niobium. Yep. So that'll be 3 of those. Then 2 thickeners in total. So 1 more. And then I have the 1 filter, I have the high pressure furnace, and oh, I guess I didn't actually look at how many electrolyzers. Probably just the 1, I think. Yeah, it's just the 1. So even if I set up all these buildings right now, I'm still not going to be able to do anything unless I bring all the stuff in, so I have to think, where do I want to do this processing? What makes the most sense? The options are locally or on the bus. I think my vote is for doing it on the bus, because that will make getting the oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, all all the extra things, even the filtration media, easier to do logistically, because I'll be making all of that on the bus anyway. So I think in the end it will be easier to belt my molybdenum ore in, especially because I know I'm going to need molybdenum ore and nickel ore for cermets much later. Granted, that will probably be through additional mining at a different location. But, yeah, I think my molybdenum is going to be done on the bus. Now, granted, I'm just now really noticing that I'm about to be doing this molybdenum processing on the bus, and I have about that much more bus to work with. I have about this much more bus total to work with, before I wanted to, like, transfer to not being bus-based, but, going into robot-based. Oh, but just thinking about all the power that's going to take, just because of distances and sheer number of robots that would be necessary. Yeah, I could do the landfill, but this is a lake. We're talking several, like 10,000 plus units of landfill if I wanted to just cut my way straight across. Just due to the width of this bus, we're talking this width worth going all the way up. Oh look, it's a 7.5 molybdenum on the path of the bus if it were to cut through the stuffs, but it's a really, really tiny molybdenum. It's such a tiny molybdenum. I like the density, but I hate the size. Oh well. And I've already turned my bus once. Damn map. Yes, I know. I know. I know. It's been kind. This map has been very kind. So the option is I could turn my bus, but then I would need to like turn it twice in a relatively small space. And I would need to start that turn like now. So if I do decide I want to turn my bus, it would have to happen right now. And I cannot turn left. Why can I not turn left? Because I've already turned left. And eventually, I mean, we're talking in extremes. As the bus grows, eventually I won't be able to grow it anymore in this zone here, because if I turned left, my route of expanding the bus is now down rather than to the left. It would become down, and eventually the corners will meet in that turn, and then you can't grow at all until you get past all of this, more over here. But that's assuming I don't ever stop using a main bus and is like at the vast extremes of expansion that I don't really see myself doing very well. And if I do turn to the left, well, then my buildings are going to be limited by this water. So either way, I think it causes more problems than it solves. And then if I go to the right, and up, again, I get a bit limited by my own outpost, but also this little water bit here for a while. I would have to expand up a bit, and then I could start doing expansion out here, but I don't know. Landfill is probably the option. Ah. Alright, I guess I will just start setting up these buildings right here for now. I'll worry about all of that at a later time. So, doing those. I'll need to figure out something with the stone. I might actually make saline water out of this stone. At least I have a use for the gravel. Make landfill. Yeah, I could. With that, well, you see, I've got a lot of stone as byproducts among a lot of things that I should convert over. Wait, am I? I'm already making landfill. I have 2.6k landfill. I'm like, wait a minute. Did I not already do this at some point? I thought I did do this at some point when I was doing copper, and as it turns out, yeah, I have a little bit saved up. Just a little bit saved up. In fact, if I don't use it, my copper production will choke. You almost have enough. Nah. Nah. In fact, tell you what. Let's store some things. Let's, yeah, store some stuff. Stuff and things. Let's go grab that. Let's go grab that and see just how long this actually lasts. I can show you how long 2.6k landfill lasts. Actually lasts. When I said I needed tens of thousands of units of landfill, I was not kidding. By any stretch of the imagination. When I actually do make a landfill, I will most likely do lines of stone on a stone patch flowing directly into landfill factories. Now, if I can just dodge and weave my way through the maze of rocks in this beautiful volcanic zone that has way too many rocks. Biggest complaint for alien biomes is just rocks. So many rocks. I can deal with the movement speed, but rocks. Too many rocks. Oh hey, some massive oil. One day that I can tap into. How much is that actually? Oh, it's crap. Oh, it's a craptacular yield. It's like, oh yeah, sure, it's massive oil patches, which is 257.9 and 98.2 times 50% more for the mining speed bonus. Woohoo! It's minor amounts of oil. It's super convenient. Oh yeah, and I have water from up here too. Let's see. Let's align with the iron somewhat. Need to be a little bit over. Alright, so I'm aligned-ish with the side of my bus. La di 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 da. And we're out. So that's about how long that lasted. And yes, I know what that actually looks like. Ahem. How far do we have to go to get to the other side of this, lake? It is a projection into the massiveness of the lake that has just been built. A massive projection. So, about that far. So, yeah, tens of thousands of units of landfill will be required for that. Oh look, more rare earths. More bolides. Lots more bolides. Oh, and I was sort of expecting there to be more stuff revealed. Oh hey, it's uranium. Hello, uranium. 2 mil. You will go play nicely with this 744K and all the various rocks of uranium that I have around the place. My 21 mil rock there is pretty nice. My 17 mil rock there is pretty nice. So, yeah, we shall see, as I need more bus, what I actually end up doing. Because, yeah, this is getting a little bit tricksy. Oh, you're getting up now? Big stretch, big yawn. Just don't walk in front of my monitor, please. Kitty. Alright, give me that. And that. Alright, next step was ball mills. Where are my ball mills? Ball mills. Making that stuff. Then agitators. Making that stuff. Okay, that means I need a gap. Whoops. Yep, that's what I want. Then, after agitators, hydrocyclones. Making those. Then, thickeners. Making that. Then filter, singular filter. I'm at least going to attempt to build this for expansion, and then it will be, no, that's input, that'll be easier if it's on that side. And then the electrolyzer right up there, making those. Needing hydrogen in. Oh boy. So, that just expanded the bus a little bit. Just a little bit. And I still need the spot to make filtration media. I need a spot for filtration media. Somewhere. Here? That would be a convenient location because it's right next to the activated carbon. So, speaking of which, filtration media is made in regular assembling machines. So you're telling me if I have enough space for this, I should use this, right? I'm assuming as much. Now, of course, there is this slightly complicated matter of this line of iron that is being used to feed my zinc processing line. This iron is destined to be turned into the iron rods that is part of the initial phase of processing zinc ore. So you can see here I'm taking apparently sand and rocks and everything else, and I'm just burning it at the moment. I need to do things with that. That would be one reason to move on and start doing robots at some point before Circuit 2s, but part of me really wanted to do Circuit 2s before robots. That is a lot of sand. Pure sand. And gravel. But that is not a lot of carbon. Interesting. So, pure sand. That is... That is a setup that looks a little bit like this. Just a little bit like this. I am currently actually burning excess pure sand, so I should reroute this up to where I need some. Right up here. Oh boy, so that's gonna be a bit of a mission. Why bother making fresh pure sand when I'm already overproducing on my glass that's using it? Speaking of which, actually, I'm pretty sure I need additional water down there. This has been a slight issue for quite some time. Now, I would say with the Circuit 1s, when you initially do the Circuit 1s, try to think about and plan for the expansion of that Circuit 1s for the Circuit 2s. That would be my initial advice. Make sure you have enough room for things to grow. Because you do need stuff for that. Anywho, so I need a little bit more water into this system. If I'm not completely mistaken, I need another input way down at the base of this. Ooh, speaking of which, thankfully my niobium is right here. Hello, pipes and undergrounds. Now to head on over, and I want to make sure I do this fix so that I don't have to worry about it later once I'm actually pulling a lot on the pure sand. Of course, more volcanic zone, by the way. This massive volcanic zone. With lots of stones blocking me. Come on. Reach the rock. Ugh, yet another rock in the way. Thingy. I know I have lots of them. You. There we go. So that will ideally be the last of the water that is needed to feed into all of this. Oh, really? I guess I need another burner. Yeah, this is slightly problematic. Usually I don't have this problem. The burners are able to take care of everything and burn off their ash. Guess if I do that, it should... Alright, this is a little hacky, shall we say. But it's something you can totally do. Well, that's one way to do it. So, should I put this pure sand on the bus? Probably not. Just because I'm going to be using all of it on this filtration media up here. So I could just bypass the bus and go straight there with it. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Please take out all of the trash stuff that I don't really need at the moment. I'm going to pull this out just enough so that I don't have to worry about fouling up with the titanium. The old sand doesn't matter, I can ignore that. Don't plan on mining that anytime soon unless I absolutely have to. Besides, it's not like that's the only oil sand that I have available on this map anyway. Cough, cough. Oh, hello. Ugh, foul it up here. It is a medium oil. How much percentage is this? 280. I say. $280, that's enough for about just under 100 megawatts of power. Alright, then where exactly am I even going with this? Here. Which aligns... Oh, yeah, I guess I could technically follow the iron. Yeah, let's follow the iron. Follow that iron. Oh, the irony. Did I leave a gap? No, it's just taking its sweet time. And this is in no way actually 15 units per second of sand. I don't think there's ever going to be a time where I will feed in the full 15 units of sand, at least not by pelts anyway. In the crafting of filtration media. I thought the filtration media, by the way, was going to use a lot more activated carbon than it actually uses. So, yeah, that's a thing I shouldn't have actually been worried about. As it turns out, it barely uses any of it. This is a perfect opportunity for a loader. Alright, glass and gravel. Glass and gravel are the other two things. So, gravel. I'm gonna have to do some finagling on that. But first, I need to grab more... a lot... Okay. So... you make fibers in centrifuges. And yet, because they're the base game centrifuges, they'll glow green. So we are We are irradiating our raw fiber to turn it into fiber. That is exactly what we are doing. Anyway, going down. Gotta get to the rubber. Rubber is where I have my beautiful things. Also, as long as you aren't full, you can have those back. Thanks. I only really needed you for a few select objects. So over here at rubber, I am making belts. Glorious belts. Efficient belts. Okay, so how many places am I making gravel that I can yank off lines? Let's see, I'm pretty sure you make gravel, but you're also backed up. So this is the other issue with gravel. You sort of need to have a constant production. Yeah, let's see. So stone comes off, gravel comes off from there. And there's not really that many places. Oh, you're doing... I see. So this is doing stone to gravel to sand. Yes, stone to gravel to sand. That's already doing something with gravel. This gives... no gravel? This gives stone, and I'm voiding that stone. Alright, it looks like I'm going to take this stone wool, and I'm going to make gravel out of it. Out of the extra stone. Because that seems like the easier option for the moment. This will need... actually, before I go out there... this is going to need jaw crushers. And I need to pick up some steel for that. I've mentioned before how I don't like any circumstance where being backed up on an item sort of prevents you from being able to do other processes. So, for instance, in this case with gravel, yes, I have a lot of other processes that give me gravel as byproducts, but a lot of those processes are currently backed up and not actually producing any gravel, and I don't want to depend on those any other processes moving in order to get what I need. In this case, gravel. This is why I prefer only ever doing the individual ore sorting in Angels. Because I don't want a circumstance where I get backed up on something and then that chokes the system. Where is that stone again that I'm currently processing? To my right. Oh, I've got... Right. Because this consumes so much stone. And I do have a lot of mining drills here. Make gravel for me, please. Whoops. Oh no, I just don't. Wait, is there... Yeah, I can't see the icon. Oh, because alt mode's off. That's why. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, sure. You only need one. Do I have what I need for a loader? I do. Let there be power. Do I have what I need for another loader? I do not. That's sad. I would like to use loaders for this. I have to go down to get to these circuits. Alright, give me a bunch of loaders so that I don't have to worry about needing them for a little bit. Now, I'm going to set up this gravel, and then I'm probably going to end this off for the day. Particularly because I haven't really taken a break today. And I really need to take a break. And, we're approaching the end of the stream anyway. Usually I go until the turn of this next hour, but, yeah, may end off a little bit early. Let's see, do I want to split off there? I do, but... There we go, that makes sure that we have enough stone in. So, gravel, where are you going? You are going... Where's that iron line? That iron line is there. So you are going to go this way. You're going to jump over and then you're going to go north. No, that's not the gravel. What the heck am I doing? There we go. You can hang out right next to this pure sand. Now there's still one more input that I need on this that I can do. Tell you what, we can make non-zero amounts of the filtration media and then call it for the day. That's what I shall do. At least I know I have enough belt. Alright, so that's that, and that just leaves glass as an input. I will go ahead and do a thingy there for input and a thingy there for output. I don't see myself needing to expand this anytime soon, and I may be replacing stuff with robots by the time I do need to expand it. So, now I have to go down and find my glass line and bring that up. Glass should be actually already on the bus. Down here. Yep, there it is. Though, ironically, by having a demand on this glass, I'm going to start using more of that pure sand, which slows this whole process down even further. So that's great. Where is it again? Have I already gone way past it? I think I've gone way past it? No, it's up there. Phew. Thought I went way past it. Okay, this is the line. There we go. So that is non-zero amounts of beautiful filtration media just as soon as the gravel meanders its way on over, and we can sit and wait, and I can review what got done today. So what got done today? Batteries. That was the first thing. Very first thing was getting the batteries moving. So we have non-zero amounts of batteries being produced. Needs lots of sodium hydroxide to feed this, but it is much better on the ratio for rayon. So really far backed up on rayon at the moment, thanks to the such good recipe that this is. So got those sorted so that I could make molybdenum mines, which I went ahead and made a whole bunch of molybdenum mines, 13 to be precise, to give me enough for a full yellow belt's output. Then went ahead and did the math on processing said molybdenum ore into plates and figured out that 15 ore in per second ultimately ends up producing half of a plate per second. And then did even more math, and it comes to find out that for the things that I need my molybdenum for, I don't actually need a full 0.5 per second. However, in order to actually make that molybdenum, process that molybdenum, it's going to need a lot of inputs, one of which I did not even have yet, and that is filtration media. So in that process, I will need to use some filtration media. Here comes the gravel for this. So we've ended off the stream here by setting up the filtration media that will be used to actually process the molybdenum. Now, I will note that after getting this molybdenum moving, I will also need to do nickel. But with nickel, I've sort of already started going through the process of figuring out what I need to do and what machines I need on the nickel. So, sort of already started working through that. I still need to do the math on that fully. Here comes the glass next. And once the glass comes in, we'll start adding the filtration media, and that will be where I think I end things off for the day because I didn't take a break during this stream, and I sorta need a break at the moment. But once this comes in, it will be lovely times, lovely filtration media. There it is. It exists. So, with that, we have reached the end of the stream for today. Remember that the goal for this week is to get up to non-zero amounts of the stainless steel before moving on to more of the other processes involved in the creation of Circuit 2s. And molybdenum is the next big step on that, followed then by nickel, as well as getting TPA from diesel and liquid nitrogen. Not diesel, from gasoline and liquid nitrogen. So yeah, lots of stuff that still needs to get done. But for now, again, thank you all for watching. I will be back tomorrow where we will continue to work on this molybdenum processing and hopefully finish and see non-zero amounts of molybdenum plates before then transitioning into the nickel processing. And I will see you all then.